I invested $187.80.33 by the age of 29. Before you assume I got lucky or had some rich start, I didn't. My parents came here with nothing. Money was stressful, not educational. They worked every single day. But investing, that sounded like gambling. We didn't talk about compound interest or index funds. We talk about bills, rent, and stretching groceries until next week. So when I finally started learning about money, I was already behind. I began only a few $100s with no plan and zero experience. I made mistakes, small ones, painful ones, expensive ones, but every loss taught me something that turned fear into knowledge. I'm not a financial expert. I'm just someone who learned the hard way and decided to share the lessons that built my $87,000 portfolio. Here are the 5 biggest investing lessons that changed everything for me. Lesson 1. It's riskier not to invest. Most people are terrified of losing money in the stock market. But the truth is, if you never invest, you are guaranteed to lose. I saw it growing up. My parents saved everything cash under the mattress. They believed keeping money in the bank was safe. But over time, their savings quietly lost value without them realizing it. That's because inflation eats away at your money every single year. In 2025, inflation averages around 3.3%, while most checking accounts pay less than 0.5%. That means for every $10,000 you save, you lose $300 in buying power each year just by doing nothing. At that pace, your money loses half its value every 24 years. So the $10,000 you're saving today, in 25 years, it will only buy what a $5,000 buys now. You're not saving, you are slowly sinking. I realized this when my emergency fund from 2024 barely covered half the same expenses in 2024. That's when it clicked. Avoiding risk was actually the biggest risk. If your money isn't growing, it's shrinking. Investing is how you fight back against inflation, and it's how you protect the value of your work over time. That's why I stopped seeing investing as risky, because the real danger is leaving your money in a place where it dies quietly. Lesson number 2. You do not need to be rich to invest. Investing is how you get rich. When I started, I didn't have thousands sitting around. I had about $400 after bills, and I kept telling myself it's not enough to matter. But waiting until you have extra money is how people stay broke forever. My first investment was in a small tech automation company that promised to revolutionize manufacturing with AI robots. I was excited, confident, and totally inexperienced. Within months, the stock crashed over 60%. It hurt, but it was the cheapest education I could have bought. Starting small forced me to learn discipline. It taught me to manage risk before I had much to lose. If I'd waited until I had $10,000, I would have made the same mistakes, only 10 times worse. When you start with small amounts, you give yourself a permission to learn. You learn how the market moves, how emotion messes with you, and how compounding works. Every small win builds confidence, and every small loss teaches patience. Starting broke made me budget differently. I stopped wasting on takeout, subscription, and random rewards. I tracked everything and looked for ways to earn extra, and that is how I built momentum. Most people think investing is something rich people do after they had made money, but that's backwards. The rich are rich because they started investing when they had almost nothing. The earlier you begin, the less you need later on, because time does the heavy lifting. That is what compounding is. Small contribution grow exponentially when you stay consistent. Lesson number 3. Retirement isn't an age, it's a number. I used to think retirement meant turning 65 and finally stop working. That's what everyone around me believed. Work for decades, hope the pension lasts, but the retirement isn't an age, it's a math problem. If your investments can pay for your lifestyle, you are financially free, no matter your age. That is the concept of financial independence. Here's how I calculate it. According to 4% rule, if you can live off 4% of your portfolio per year, you are free to stop working. So if you need $60,000 a year, you will need about $1.5 million invested. If you want $120,000 a year, you will need around $3 million. That numbers used to sound impossible to me, but compound growth changes everything. I currently have $187,000 invested and add between $2,000 and $4,000 every month. If the market keeps averaging around 8 to 10% annually, I will hit $3 million target before I turn 45. That's 2 decades it's earlier than my parents could ever dream of. And that is the point. Retirement isn't about age, it's about control. It's not quitting work, it's having the choice. It's waking up and deciding what your day looks like without asking permission. Once I start seeing it that way, every dollar I invested felt like buying back time from my future. Lesson number 4. Investing is an emotional warfare. Everyone loves to say buy and hold, but nobody explains how hard it really is. It's easy to say calm until your portfolio drops 5 figures overnight. I have been there. You open your account and see red numbers everywhere. Your stomach drops and your brain screams. Logic disappears. That's when I learned investing is 20% knowledge and 80% emotional control. I used to panic and sell too early, thinking I was protecting myself. But every time I sold in fear, the market recovered later on and I missed the rebound. So I built a system to protect me from myself. Now every Friday, money automatically transfers into my investment account. Whether the market is up or down, the system invests for me. No hesitation and no emotion. This is also called dollar cost averaging. It means buying consistent over time instead of trying to time the perfect moment. Sometimes you buy high, sometimes you buy low, but over the long run, you even out and win. Automation keeps me consistent when emotions don't, because your brain will always try to sabotage you. Fear tells you to sell, greed tells you to buy too much. The only way to beat that is with systems stronger than emotions. If you ever wonder why some people get rich investing while others never do, it's not IQ, it's patience. It's staying calm when everyone else panics. Lesson number 5. Simplicity always wins. When I first got into investing, I thought I needed to analyze charts, track every company, and read every headline. I made it complicated because I thought complicated meant smart. But the truth, simplicity builds wealth faster. My portfolio now is simple. 80% in index funds, 50% in ETFs, 5% in individual stocks I believe in long term. Let me break that down. An index fund is a basket that holds hundreds of companies at once. Instead of betting on one stock, you buy small pieces of all of them. That way, even if one company struggles, your overall investments keeps growing. One of the most popular examples is VOO, a fund that tracks the S&P 500. It includes the 500 largest public companies in the US like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Tesla. When you buy VOO, you're not buying one company, you're buying America's top 500 businesses all at once. Then there is the VTI, which goes even wider. It tracks the entire US stock market, including big, medium, and small companies. Think of VTI as owning a piece of nearly every public traded business in the country. Historically, these funds have returned about 9 to 10% a year. That's enough to double your money roughly every 7 or 8 years, with almost no effort, and that is why I love them. They let you invest without guessing, without timing, and without stress. No matter what happens, elections, recessions, war, these funds represent the long-term growth of the economy. If America keeps growing, your wealth keeps growing. And that's the secret most people miss. Investing isn't about picking winners, it's about owning the system that keeps winning. I also treat investing like a bill. Rent, utilities, grocery, investments, it's non-negotiable. Whether I feel motivated or not, that payment goes out every month, because the key to wealth isn't brilliance, it's consistency. I wasn't taught any of this growing up. Everything I know comes from reading, failing, and experimenting until it made finally sense. My parents believed saving money made you safe. Now I know real safety comes from ownership, owning assets, owning time, and of course, owning freedom. So if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. You do not need to be rich to start. You just need to start before time passes you by, because the biggest risk isn't losing money in the market, it's never letting your money grow in the first place. If you like this video so far, please like and subscribe, and if you want to know what my total net worth is, watch this video.